Our kids can be super stubborn sometimes, and if you're a parent, I'm sure you've experienced a stubborn child at some point. And I like to call kids persistent more than stubborn. What this means is that kids will do anything and everything to get what they want. They'll first ask you properly, then they'll ask you a little loudly. If they still don't get it, they'll lie down on the floor, they'll cry, they'll howl, they'll bang their heads on the wall, but they'll make sure that they get what they want. Basically, they're going to make your life as a parent super challenging and extremely difficult. And today I'm going to share with you 3 positive parenting tips that is going to help you deal with a stubborn child. So let's jump straight into tip number 1. And tip number 1 is that you're not going to give your child an opportunity to argue. What this means is that when your child is being stubborn, you're going to try and keep the communication to a minimum. You're not going to talk too much and try to explain your viewpoint to your child when he's having big emotions or is being stubborn. You're just going to allow your child some space and you're going to give him the time to process and understand that his actions have consequences and that in life he's going to have some difficult times which he might not like, but he still has to go through. By talking too much, you're just going to make this more difficult for yourself and your child. So understand keeping the communication to a minimum and not giving your child an opportunity to argue is very important. So that's tip number 1 for you. Tip number 2 to deal with stubborn kids. Don't allow your child's mood to control your mood as a parent. It is so important to understand that kids are not good at regulating their emotions. So as an adult, as a parent, it is our duty to control and manage our emotions. What this means is that when your child is getting angry, irritated, frustrated, do not feel the same. Do not get irritated, frustrated and angry. I understand it is not easy, but what we need to do is stretch our tolerance muscle. And when our children are having those emotions, we have to try and stay calm. The best thing to do is to breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. This really helps. I'm not suggesting that this is easy, but this is definitely the better option. The more you do this, the more you're going to start preferring this option. If I were given an option between a strong power struggle with my child and breathing, I would definitely pick breathing. So be wise, be calm, and do not allow your child's mood to decide your mood. Let's take charge of our emotions and let's be the adult in this relation. Tip number 3 to deal with stubborn kids. Establish a connection. What this means is that before you stop or correct your child, you want to first establish a connection. Let me give you an example that will help you understand this better. So let's say your child is coloring the walls of the house, is drawing on the wall, is painting it, and it's not something that you can approve of. So instead of just going to your child and directly asking him to stop or not to do it, a better way to do this is to first establish a connection. So what you're going to tell your child instead. So you could tell your child something like, I understand how much fun this is. I'm sure you're loving it. And the wall looks great, but can we please use a paper instead? And when you do this, your child will become calm. Your child will understand that you feel what your child is feeling, which means your child will feel that you're on the same team and you understand that your child is having so much fun coloring the walls, even if you don't approve of it. But when you establish the connection, your child is more open and is more willing to listen to you. And when they're listening, they're also more likely to take action. So this is a very important strategy. Also with TV, when screen time and kids don't want to give it up, the better thing to do is to first ask them and to make a connection. So you can tell your child something like, I understand how much fun this is. I understand how much you are loving this show. But can we please stop in 5 minutes? Can we please continue tomorrow? When you do this, your children are more likely to listen, they're more likely to act. So it's very important that we establish a connection and we connect with our children before we correct them and before we stop them. This is super powerful. I'm sure this is going to help. So do try this one for sure. So I've shared with you 3 powerful positive parenting tips on how to deal with stubborn kids. I'm not suggesting that this is going to be easy, but what I'm suggesting is that this is going to save you a lot of time, it's going to save you a lot of power struggle, and you're going to feel a lot better and more confident in handling these situations. So it's definitely worth a try, and these are just 3 powerful parenting tips that I've shared with you. But if you want more such tips and strategies that are going to help you feel more confident as a parent, then click on the subscribe now button, and you can also watch this video, which is a more detailed video on how to manage toddlers. So make sure you keep learning and you keep growing, because the more we work on ourselves, the less we have to work on our children.